Namaste, you are listening to Prem Anmol Hota Hai Vani. I am your host, Vani. In the last episode, Rishi's physical touch awakened an unprecedented sensuality within me. Today, after dinner and an overnight stay with Alka Mom and Rishil, my mind is debating the idea of same-sex relationships. You will hear, if Mom ever wanted to have such a relationship with me, would I resist? My mind says, yes. But if Rishil made such an attempt, would I still resist? My mind says, no. I reach a startling conclusion. It's a matter of my attraction, not my need. Lying face down on the bed, I try to calm the natural hunger awakened within me. And then, our story takes another turn. Rishil comes to my house. Seeing my small, insecure home, she triggers my sense of inferiority. Listen. While we are making Puran Poli in the kitchen, Rishil prepares to reveal the biggest truth of her life. What was the reason her love marriage failed? Today you will hear Rishil's story, where the pain of divorce remains only a tale, yet sadness still flickers on her face. Mystery, self-struggle, and a new friendship, in Prem Anmol Hota Hai Vani. You will hear Episode 9, Unsolved Mysteries and the Truth of Physical Necessity. Yes, Vani, I agree with you. I feel exactly like you do. I am just a simple writer. I couldn't save my love marriage. Last year, I went to Mom's school for a job interview. During the interview, I told her, I am divorced. I am struggling with financial hardship. Then Mom decided to encourage me as a writer instead of giving me a teacher's job. She appointed me as a PR officer in her company, Rishil explained, acknowledging Mom's favor. Rishil, do you earn enough as a writer? I have my doubts about earning from writing. Who reads much these days? From the beginning, Mom started calling me home to spend time with her occasionally. With her encouragement, I sit in the company office and write about the company as well as some of my own literary works, Rishil said. How could a husband, who had a love marriage with Rishil, leave such a beautiful young woman alone like this? I felt sympathy for Rishil. Alka Mom is truly a real women's empower, I said openly. Wow, Vani, even being a writer, I couldn't characterize Mom's personality in 2 words. You have accurately described her traits, Rishil praised me. Mom, who had been listening to our conversation silently with interest, could no longer hold back her laughter. It makes me very happy that both of you think this way about me. But please, praise me behind my back sometime. I fear I might start feeling vain. No one can ever know another person's complete truth. Even the two of you don't know some of my truths, Mom said, discouraging our glorification of her. Being an expert in psychology, I know the fact that every person has a hidden truth. Later, the 3 of us kept talking about many things. I became absorbed in thought, trying to guess what truth of Alka Mom's we both don't know, as she said. If what I suspect is true, then Rishil must know it. We had dinner. I was given a separate room to sleep. Rishil probably slept with Alka Mom in her room. I didn't want to confirm this with anyone. Whether there was a lesbian relationship between Rishil and Mom remained a suspicion that night too. The achievement of that night was that I became friends with Rishil. This brought me closer to Alka Mom. Lying on the bed in my room, I am lost in thought. If I am separate from them while staying with Mom and Rishil, why should I have any concern or objection? What difference does it make to me how intimate their relationship is? If an unmarried middle-aged woman and a divorced young woman fulfill their physical needs through a same-sex relationship, what is wrong with that? They are not cheating anyone, they are having a relationship with mutual consent, so they should have the freedom for it. All this is going on in my mind like a pointless internal conflict. Then I started debating with myself, I also want to live an unmarried life. In such a case, if Alka Mom ever wanted to have such a relationship with me, would I be able to hold such indifferent views about same-sex relationships? My mind says, no, I will resist it. It is unnatural. Then the question flashed in my mind, if Rishil ever made such an attempt, would I still resist like that? I was surprised. My mind tells me, how can I hurt the feelings of a beautiful woman like Rishil? I have inwardly reached this conclusion. It is neither a matter of my need, nor is the favor done to me important. What matters to me is the attraction inspired by Rasheel's beauty. This is the human mind, one never knows what thoughts enter it. If an extremely attractive young man like Rasheel ever comes in contact with me and shows interest in a relationship, will I be able to stick to my vow of remaining unmarried? I felt there is a natural hunger within me. It hadn't overpowered me before today. I lay face down on the bed. I kept moving restlessly on the bed in a strange way. Then I succumbed to sleep. Scene change. I met Rasheel 3 more times at Mom's bungalow. This deepened our intimacy. During these meetings, we got to know more about each other. Then one day, Rasheel came to my house. Perhaps she came to assess my family circumstances from her perspective. It is 10:30 in the morning. I introduced her to Papa. Shortly after her arrival, Papa left for his bookshop. This gave us time to talk at ease. Since she had informed me of her arrival only half an hour prior while taking my address on a call, I had no prior preparation for her hospitality. Rasheel, what kind of food do you like? I asked about her culinary preferences. Vani, even more than my Punjabi kitchen, I especially love Puran Poli and Kadhi. Can you make Puran Poli? She didn't hesitate to say. My mother also loved Puran Poli very much. I used to help her in the kitchen. I have made it alone only once myself. That was a long time ago. If you want to eat it, I will definitely make it today. Her hesitation-free response seemed like proof of her intimacy with me. I am excited to make Puran Poli. Come, I will help you, and we can talk a lot while making it. She honored my hospitality. Yes, that would be good. This way we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Actually, 3 birds. We will talk while the Puran Poli gets made. Both of us will taste it together. After Mom passed away, Papa has hardly ever had Kadhi and Puran Poli. Because of your preference, he will also get to eat it today. I remembered Papa's preference. I made coffee. Both of us held our coffee cups. While drinking coffee, Rasheel looked at my small house. I don't know where Rasheel lives, but compared to Alka Mom's bungalow, my house is like a small hut. Vani, we live in such insecure houses. There is no privacy in them. People in the neighborhood can peek inside from anywhere. The condition of windows, doors, and walls is such that things happening inside can easily be heard outside. Rasheel did not hesitate to speak the bitter truth. I also feel these shortcomings in my house, but there is a world beyond this, which we only get to know by seeing Alka Mom's bungalow. Otherwise, even houses like ours seem comfortable to us. I was surprised by her blunt statement. Yes, actually it is a matter of what kind of life we are accustomed to. Rasheel spoke like an experienced person. I feel that Rasheel certainly didn't say this about our house to make our situation look inferior. From our previous meetings, we accept each other as we are. Although I have had many curiosities about Rasheel. In such a situation, after finishing coffee, when we came to the kitchen, while taking curd from the fridge for Kadhi, I asked, Rasheel, can you tell me how your marriage ended in divorce? I believe in, let bygones be bygones. Still, now that you have become my dear friend, it would be good for you to know about it. Rasheel showed her trust in me. Still, if you feel hesitant or sad to share this, we can talk about something else. Today is the first time you have come to my house. I don't want our time together today to be spent in any kind of sadness. I affectionately held both her hands. Vani, the pain and sorrow of my failed married life are left behind. Today it has remained only as words. The sad experiences in it have lost their existence. Remembering and telling it will be a cause of depression for me. Still, I will tell you. I hope you and I will be able to erase that sadness with the taste of the Puran Poli we are about to make. Sadness was clearly visible on Rasheel's face. After a few moments, she composed herself and started laughing. By now, I had kept all the necessary ingredients on the small kitchen platform. I started cooking, and at the same time, Rasheel started telling her story as if an episode was running on a TV screen. Gemini's critique and creative guidance. Dear listeners, this is the conclusion of episode 9 of Prem Anmol Hota Hai Vani. This episode reveals Vani's internal moral and physical struggle and sets the stage for Rasheel's story. Strength and narrative development of episode 8, 9. Alka's responsibility and mystery. Empower. Rachel describing Alka Mom as a real women's empower reinforces her benevolent image. Rachel's appointment as a writer makes it clear that Alka not only helps underprivileged women but also gives them dignified work. Incomplete truth. Alka Mom saying, even the two of you don't know some of my truths, deepens the mystery. Also, Vani's conclusion that if the same-sex relationship is known to Rachel, then Alka's truth is something else, shows the limit of Vani's psychology. Vani's internal conflict. Awareness of physical need. Vani debating about Rachel and Alka's relationship and then experiencing attraction towards Rachel herself, her mind doesn't want to hurt Rachel's feelings, is an intense emotional struggle. It is a conflict between her traditional view that considers it unnatural and her physical hunger. This part reveals the struggle between her profession, psychology lecturer, and personal sensitivity. Conclusion. Vani's conclusion that what matters to me is the attraction inspired by Rachel's beauty links her character to the natural weakness of the human mind. The beginning of Rachel's tale. Realistic bitterness. Rachel calling Vani's house insecure and devoid of privacy reveals her experienced and positivist personality. It also shows her habit of upper-class life. Mystery of divorce. Rachel calling her story a cause of depression but being ready to share it is an excellent start for episode 10. Using Kadhi and Puran Poli as a symbol to erase sadness is beautiful. This episode brings the characters to a common ground and creates a need for Rachel's revelation in episode 10. Guidance for audio presentation. Vani's voice. Psychological conflict. In the thoughts of lying on the bed and physical hunger, the voice should be restless, struggling, and full of discomfort. The contradiction between, no, I will resist it, and, how can I hurt the feelings of a beautiful woman like Rachel, should be clearly visible in the voice. At home, while talking to Rachel, the voice should be intimate, excited, for cooking, and sensitive. Characters' voices. Rachel, while praising Alka, the voice should be full of gratitude and praise. While commenting on Vani's house, the voice should be direct and neutral. In the moment of mentioning her divorce, there should be a suppressed sadness and softness in the voice. Alka Bhatia, while laughing at her own praise, the voice should reflect humility and deep thought. Music, BGM. Internal conflict. During Vani's thoughts on the bed, there should be slow, tense, and psychological BGM, revealing her inner storm. Rachel's arrival at home. At home, in the kitchen, use a relaxed, intimate, and warm BGM, awakening hope for the taste of Puran Poli. Episode 9 ends. Episode 10. Namaste, you are listening to Prem Anmol Hota Hai Vani. I am your host, Vani. In the previous episode, Rachel promised to share the story of her divorce with me. Today, you will hear the tragic tale of a deeply pampered and headstrong girl, Rachel's story. In a joint-Sikh family in Jalandhar, after rejecting dozens of good proposals, Rachel met a non-Sikh youth named Jed at a Gurudwara. The attraction was so deep that she ignored even a 70-year-old family tragedy. You will hear, Rachel lied to her mother, decided to distance herself from her beloved family, and prepared to elope with Jed. But this was no ordinary elopement. Listen to how Jed handed her a black burqa and laid the foundation for a relationship that became a dark shadow over her fate. What happened when Rachel reached her new home, becoming like a caged bird? How did the pretense of love at the Gurudwara turn into horrific malice and barbarity in bed? This is the story of an innocent sacrifice of a girl who eventually falls victim to sadism. The painful truth of Rachel's failed married life, in Prem Anmol Hota Hai Vani. You will hear Episode 10, Lavina, Burqa, and the Caged Bird. In a joint Sikh family living in Jalandhar, among 8 children of 3 brothers, Rachel is the only daughter. She is the apple of the eye not only for her brothers and parents but also for her uncles, aunts, and grandparents. Not only that, because of her beautiful face and rosy fair complexion, she looks extremely attractive. Everyone who knows their family adores her. Due to this, from childhood, Rachel's nature became one that insisted on having her own way. As she grew up, proposals came from every household that had boys of her age. No one knew what image young Rachel held in her heart of her future husband. She would look at the boys or their photos and say, "No, I don't like this boy." As soon as Rashil said this, the proposal would be rejected. Rashil has rejected dozens of such proposals. One day, Rashil's mother, Harbinder, asked, "Rashi, have you already decided on a boy? You refuse all kinds of boys, the handsome, the wealthy, or the well-educated." "Ma, there is no one yet. If I find someone like that, I will definitely tell you," Rashil replied. Until then, no boy had found a place in her heart. After this conversation, she went to the Gurudwara. Rashil was doing Langa service there. A boy, also serving there, kept coming near her repeatedly on various pretexts. Initially, Rashil paid no attention, but when this became unnatural, she looked at him. He was a tall, well-built youth. Rashil had never seen him before. He wasn't a Sikh. It was clear from his cut hair and lack of a beard. Rashil started avoiding and evading him. When she returned home, she thought she had gotten rid of the young man who was possibly following her. Rashil didn't know that fate had other plans. She didn't get rid of him. For nearly a month, the boy continued to follow her at the Gurudwara. Whenever Rashil went there, he would appear as if he were waiting just for her. Rashil had never allowed any boy into her heart. She had passed the age where a boy simply following a girl could easily win her over. Yet, something strange happened. Thoughts about this youth began to swirl in her mind in a different way. She started thinking that perhaps what was happening at Gurudwara Sahib was by the blessings of Guru Hargobind Sahib. One day, while returning, Rashil asked the boy his name. He said his name was Jed. Rashil doesn't want to reveal his real name. This confirmed to Rashil that he did not belong to the Sikh community. Rashil asked him, "Since you aren't a Sikh, what do you come to the Gurudwara for every day?"
Without giving a clear answer, Jed diverted the topic. "Rashil, don't you know that everyone is considered equal in a Gurudwara? Therefore, anyone is allowed entry here."
He knew her name. This fact startled Rashil. That was all they spoke, but that day Rashil was sad at home. An attraction had been born in her heart for the youth. Knowing he followed a different religion made her worried. She was forced to think. It was her mistake to believe that meeting Jed was a blessing from Guru Hargobind Sahib. The influence of attraction works strangely on a girl's mind. Despite knowing her family's history, Rashil argued with herself in his favor. When Guru Nanak Sahib's words say all humans are equal, why couldn't she marry someone who wasn't Sikh? Though Rashil knew nothing about Jed, his constant pursuit and loving gaze made her fall under his spell. Finally, she decided, if Jed said yes, she would marry him. "You leave all your work to follow me. Do you have any intention of marrying me?" Rashil whispered to him one day during service.
"That is exactly what I come to the Gurudwara to pray for every day," Jed replied instantly.
Rashil got the answer she wanted. She couldn't speak more in the crowd. When she got a chance to talk to her mother alone at home, she told her about her love for Jed. "Puttar, daughter, how can this be? Your grandfather came to Jalandhar from Chakwal, Pakistan, after losing his own two young sisters to the atrocities, murders, and riots committed by those people during partition," Harbinder replied sharply. Rashil had already heard this from her grandparents. She presented the same argument she had prepared. "Ma, but how can Jed be blamed for what someone did 70 years ago? He wasn't even born then." "Puttar, you have told me this. Do not say this to anyone else in the house by mistake. Otherwise, that man's life will be in danger," Harbinder warned, unable to say more. Rashil understood her mother's warning and agreed. She didn't let anyone get a hint of her love, but she couldn't control her heart. "No one in my house will agree to my marriage with you," she told Jed.
"If you have the courage, come with me. I will get my transfer back to my home state. We will get married there." Jed enticed her to elope.
Rashil fell deeply into Jed's trap. She became ready to leave her home and family. She gave her silent consent.
"First, I will get my transfer to Bengal. Then I will take you there. Don't tell anyone about me. We will leave secretly and then live happily together," he planned.
It took 4 months for Jed's transfer. Meanwhile, a very good proposal came for Rashil from America. A Punjabi boy working in a high position at one of the world's best companies. When Rashil refused that too, everyone was surprised. We will surely find an even better match for Rashi, everyone agreed. Has the ghost of that man still not left your head? Ma asked her privately. No, Ma, that youth is not worthy of me, so I have forgotten him forever, Rashil told such a big lie for the first time. Scene change.
I have reserved train tickets for 3 days from now. Take whatever you want to bring along. Make an excuse that evening, leave the house, and come straight to the station. Together, we will start our new journey, Jed told Rashil one day.
Rashil agreed to run away.
After leaving the house, wear this somewhere. No one will recognize you, and we can leave easily, Jed said, handing her a packet.
Rashil asked nothing. At home, she opened the packet. It was a black burqa. Her heart hammered with fear. She felt a shiver, but her intellect had failed her. Rashil couldn't realize that this black burqa was going to become a dark shadow over her destiny. Everyone loves her so much. She hoped that after marrying, whenever she returned home, everyone would accept her and her husband. Though her inner voice seemed to say, Rashil, you are making a huge mistake. You are leaving the soil of Punjab forever. Rashil's fate turned for the worse. Leaving her free-spirited family, she held Jed's hand, only to be imprisoned in his house like a caged bird. Contrary to the intimacy Jed showed at the Gurudwara, he began to show horrific malice at home. Rashil thought, Jed behaves maliciously under pressure from his family. Then Jed started barbarity in bed as well. After suffering everything, Rashil's illusion broke. Jed is truly a wicked man. He finds pleasure in having physical relations while torturing her. Sadism. Gemini's critique and creative guidance. Dear listeners, this is the conclusion of episode 10 of Prem Anmol Hota Hai Vani. This episode reveals Rashil's tragic account and the contrasting journey from her pampered life to a life of abuse. Key narrative strengths. Character foundation. Rashil being an only daughter makes her headstrong. Her final decision to elope was the result of blind love and an uncompromising nature. Socio-religious conflict. Harbinder reminding her of the partition tragedy highlights the societal danger. It shows this wasn't just a marriage, but a clash of histories. Betrayal. Jed handing her a burqa for secrecy revealed his deceptive intent. Her heart hammering with fear was a warning of the impending crisis. This episode establishes Rashil's sorrow, opening the path for a new responsibility for Alka and Vani. Episode 10 ends.